Peace, people. I was cruising through some old writings, going through my little book of thoughts, and I came across something that I had written, whew, a while ago. It's got to be over 10 years. And the title of it is called Conscious Pigeons. And the subtitle is The Righteous Man's Take on the Dating Scene, formerly conscious chickens before they moved down in the food chain. And it's just funny, like reading your old writings, give you an indication of where you were mentally and where you've gone, and where you came from and where you are now. And I just wanted to read it, and then I wanted to give some thoughts afterwards. Mainly because I think it's relevant to a lot of what's going on YouTube, where you have this war going on between the nice guys and the good men and the thugs and the players and the pimps. And before I gave the commentary, I wanted to read this so that people can know where I've been and what I was thinking, so that they won't think I'm just talking out of my ass when I give the comments at the end. So here goes. It says, I'm thoroughly disgusted with the quality of the average sister today. A great deal of the sisters out here claim to want that quote-unquote good man, but have no method of obtaining what they claim they want and lack the perception to notice him if he is in their midst. Also, these sisters do not create the environment through their personality and aura that will make it conducive for a good man, aka righteous man, to feel comfortable in their presence. The sad reality is that too many sisters have accepted the indoctrination of the player and the pimp that has been laid down by brothers both unrighteous and brothers fronting righteousness, and are only interested in sex and game. These are the sisters that present a total sexual package on sight, yet front like the sexual aspects of relationships is minor on the priority scale. As a man striving to be righteous and obtain the knowledge necessary to produce wisdom and acquire understanding, and as a man that had strong African women contribute to the development of his present state of consciousness, I want to give the righteous man take on the dating scene. There are three types of sisters out there in the world today. The first one is the chicken head, who is a manifestation of the player's wet dream. A woman who has been stripped of all presence of the mental and spiritual aspects of reality and lives a material and physical augmentation. The second type is what I call the cosmetic conscious sisters, who are really chicken heads with delusions of grandeur. These are the sisters that you see escaping to religious or cultural cliques and decked out in African, Islamic, Hebrew, or Christian regalia. These women are a step above the chicken head in their mind, because instead of being gained by brothers with the upfront and blunt sexual approach, they prefer the finesse approach, i.e. poetry players, righteousness players, religious players, etc. Although nowadays the blunt approach is not out of the question. Last but not least is the righteous woman. Morals, values, principles, honor, and character is what she judges the content of a person by. She can read game a mile away and is insulted if it is presented to her. Love and sex are not concepts that are diametrically opposed to one another in her mind. This woman will notice true righteousness when it is in her presence, and is a precious jewel whose value cannot be measured with mere currency. The goal for the righteous man is to have the Creator bless him with the opportunity to connect with the energy of a righteous woman, but there are many pitfalls and obstacles that stand in the way. I grudgingly respect the chicken head and have the utmost of respect for the righteous sister, because I understand exactly where they're coming from. The source of my pain is the cosmetic conscious sister, aka the cultural freak. This sister is the constant mirage that appears in the desert when searching for an oasis. She flip-flops back and forth, dancing between chickenhead and righteousness, and like that mirage in the desert, provides no quench to the righteous man's thirst. For example, the cosmetic sister seems to be dismayed by the void of trust, honesty, and loyalty in their relationships. The paradox is that the attributes they are looking for can only manifest into being from the mind of a righteous man. However, When judging their choice of man, they eliminate culture, relevant information, and consciousness from the equation. In other words, how can you say you want an intelligent man, but when a conversation turns to information, culture, politics, or spirituality, you suddenly become bored? What is left within the parameters of discussion for a man to talk about that would give you an indication of his character or intelligence? What this madness creates is a situation that causes a brother to approach a sister in the same way that a clown approaches a child. The clown has to wear some elaborate outfit with lots of color, glitter and flashing lights, do lots of giggling and laughing, dancing, juggling acts, magic tricks, and whatever necessary to keep that child's attention focused on him. If not, the child in this limited attention span will become distracted by another clown. The cosmetic conscious sister is also offended by the manner and spirit with which the average brother approaches them. When a brother sees a sister that is dressed in either skin-tight or cut-at-the-ass short skirts, a tank top or short shirt exposing their stomach, a pierced belly button and or tongue, and a temporary, because it damn sure ain't permanent, or weave flowing in the wind, they tend to approach them on a sexual level. They say you can't judge a book by its cover. What I would like to know is if you go into a bookstore and see a book that has food on it and it says cookbook, what are the chances that you will find recipes in it? Although to every rule there's an exception, I would venture to say that it would be a high probability that you would. Does the gear that these sisters wear promote righteousness, humility, and intellect, or does it promote sex? Is the appearance that they perpetrate upon the public for comfort or for attention from the opposite sex? Does a pierced tongue represent verbal prowess or oral copulation skills? If these sisters say that it doesn't matter what they wear, and that they have the right to wear what they want and go out into the street without being harassed by brothers sexually, then I have some questions. What would be your perception of a brother that comes out of the house with biker shorts on, no jock strap, and the imprint of a big-ass dick lined up against his inner thigh? Is the first thing that comes into your mind righteousness? Also, of all the styles that are available for you to pick from with your free mind, why would you choose the sexually provocative style? Maybe it's because other sisters are getting all of their sexual attention from the majority of the players and you have to try to compete. But I thought you wanted a good man and not a player. The absurdity of wearing the gear these sisters wear and complaining about the sexual attention they get is the equivalent of walking down the street with a hot dog stand and then becoming offended when someone asks you for a frank. I could wrap this editorial up with the old adage that says, if you throw a rock into a pile of dogs, the only one that yelps is the one that got hit, and let it speak for itself. But something needs clarity. It's imperative people understand that when I put all women into these three categories, I'm speaking about their overall ideological perspective. It would be a mistake to look at it strictly from an aesthetic point of view, thinking you can identify each woman on sight and make a judgment on their character. The three categories that I created is just a microcosm of the bigger picture. You are either a 5%er, a 10%er, or an 85er. In other words, you either stand with God, 5%, the devil, 10%, or the person that is being pulled in both directions and doesn't know where to stand, 85%. If someone could please describe another category that exists in our present-day reality, I would love to hear it. Don't have a lot of time to comment on that, but I will say this and I'll make it short. The problem with guys and their frustration over dealing with women is that they're focused on the women and not focused on themselves. And I think that piece showed me at the time where my head was at. I was looking outside of myself to try to figure out what's going on and why people act the way that they act. It's not about the women, guys. It's about you. Who are you? Get into yourself. Get into your culture. Get into who you are. Learn the information. Become intelligent as you can, as a brother, as a human being. And women will come to you. And the right women will come to you because they'll be really coming to you and not some bullshit that you putting on to try to attract them. I know we all have our style. I like a big butt and small waist just like everybody else. And I tend to attract that without actually going for it. Why? Because I'm confident in who I am and I put myself out there So I'm going to get what I want in the end. Peace.